Today I'm going to be announcing where I'm going to college along with answering a question about how I decided. So I did not enroll until 8:30 on May 1st, which for those who aren't familiar with college commitment day, that's 3.5 hours before the deadline. I was cutting it very close. In fact, I was out of state without my parents at the time. I did wait till the very last minute. It was a very tough decision for me. Just as a review, the colleges that were actually options were Furman University, Wake Forest University, and UNC Chapel Hill, along with Patrick Henry College, but they didn't send me any stickers. So I just have my lovely little flag right here. Ultimately, I realized, I don't want to go to Furman and Wake Forest. That was pretty clear. I never wanted to go to Furman, but I did apply. And honestly, there were a mixture of things. It was really close to home. The reputation wasn't super great. I probably would have considered going if I got on a full ride, but I only got about half tuition scholarship, so it was still quite expensive for the value of the school. Wake Forest was extremely expensive. They gapped my family, even though they meet 100% of demonstrated need, by about $15,000. Since I'm not willing to take on loans, the actual $10,000 gap didn't matter. It was $15,000. And so Patrick Henry and UNC were really the only options left on the table. So between these two schools, the decision was very tough. I actually went and I visited Patrick Henry last minute because I had never been. The reason that the decision was so difficult was because Patrick Henry is very good at what I'm interested in, pre-law. But Patrick Henry was a very strong contender. But I wanted to see how many credits would transfer, so that's one reason that it took me so long to decide. However, with UNC, they're ranked number 15th for my degree. I got into the honors program there. I got into the Carolina Spring Forward program there, which allowed me to continue studying Spanish. And overall, it just seemed to be a lot more flexible. Luckily, I was blessed that cost was not an issue with either of these schools. They ended up being pretty similar in price. And so the ultimate decision was which school is going to provide a better fit. It was like comparing apples to oranges because they were so different. They would provide so many different things, and they would both give me a great experience. But at the end of the day, I decided to prioritize the flexibility or the pre-law track, one of those things more than the other. Which is why I'm excited to announce that I'll be going to UNC Chapel Hill this fall. Go Heels! So after that long monologue, I want to talk to you about how I came to my actual college decision. And this is going to be applicable for all students, no matter your ability to pay for school, the schools you are looking at. In my opinion, the most important thing to consider is value. That is the quality of the education you're receiving for the cost you're paying. And if cost is not an issue at all for your family, then it may just be the quality of the education you receive, which is a combination of things. That's reputation, that's your overall degree experience, it's the opportunities that you receive there, it's your expected career outcomes, all of those things bundled together. But for the majority of American families, if you're looking at Ivy League institutions that cost almost $100,000 a year now, you're just not going to be willing to pay that much. And you shouldn't pay that much for the education. Whether a student has a higher outcome going to an Ivy versus a top 40 depends so much on the student, on the degree that they get, and the field that they choose to actually go into. A lot of students in my area would prefer Wake Forest. In fact, the student body size at Wake Forest was much more ideal for me. However, I was not willing to pay as much as they were asking me, especially considering that UNC was cheaper and generally had a better reputation. And even beyond that, UNC would accept my dual enrollment credits versus I didn't really know whether Wake Forest would or not. And for context, I have about 62 credits coming in. These days, there's such a big focus on reputation, on if you get into a top 15 and a top 10, you have to go to the top 10. But there's so many things to consider, and a lot of it does depend on you. There have been studies that have been done on outcomes of a student who's waitlisted in Ivy, ends up going Ivy, or to a public flagship, and they typically do better at the Ivy. However, a large part of it is always going to depend on how hard you're willing to work as a person. A good saying that I've heard is go debt free or go Ivy, and I would generally agree with this, that you should only consider taking on debt if you're attending a top 15 school, and even then it needs to be manageable. I've seen a student at Williams College who was expected to take on $150,000 in debt for his degree, and that's just not worth it because of the burden and the stress it gives you. Even if you're going into a very well-paying field, it's just a lot of stress as you're working to pay that debt off, not only in the years that you're in college, but in the several years that you're working through that in your career. A good rule of thumb for students who do decide to take on debt, especially if you're going to those top 15 schools, is to look at your expected career outcomes. How much do you think you're going to be making with the degrees that you hope to get, and what field you hope to go into? Generally look at your salary over 5 years and approximate that about 15% of that will go into paying off any school debt. So if you are making $100,000 a year for your first 5 years, then you're going to be able to pay about $15,000 a year towards debt. So in total, that's about $75,000. Divide that by the 4 years that you're in college, and you can take on a little less than $20,000 in debt per year, which is a massive difference between that and a top 15's cost of attendance. But even then, if there's any way to avoid debt while still getting a school that is fairly highly valued, I would definitely suggest that. I'm not saying you have to go to the number 80th ranked public school that's giving you a full ride instead of taking on $10,000 in debt per year for Columbia, but there is certainly a time and a place to say no to the most prestigious schools. But at the end of the day, if cost is not an issue for you, like in how I was blessed to be able to decide between two schools that were very similar in price, then fit is the next best thing to go to. What school makes you excited? When you step onto campus, and it is best to visit the actual schools, what makes you sing? What schools do you think you're going to have the best opportunities at for you? Do you have relationships, connections already built there? Or do you see one school fulfilling your desires for the college undergraduate experience the best? Answering these questions can help you come to ultimate conclusion. Unfortunately, though, there are some students who are paying for college by themselves, because it is more common than you would realize that parents aren't willing or aren't capable of paying for a student's education. So in that case, what should you do? Because it doesn't really appear that staying out of debt is an option. For those students, I would suggest first attending your local community college for 2 years. This is almost always going to be less expensive than attending a 4-year university, since you can continue to live at home. And then for the final 2 years, going to a 4-year university that will accept either all or the vast majority of your credits from your associates at your local community college. This is going to typically be your in-state school, and for students who don't have a well-known flagship, this can be somewhat disappointing. If you can find a school that costs similarly, after considering how many credits are going to transfer, that is out-of-state, public, or even private, that could be an option as well. But just recognize that everything is going to be so expensive as soon as you move out of state. But the difference between receiving a college education and only having a high school diploma is certainly big enough that it is worth going to debt just to have a college degree. Or you do have to be much more cautious if the burden is all on you. I know a student recently who chose to go to Montana State University for a full ride instead of Brown, because she was paying for her entire education and it would cost her $30,000 a year. That's very admirable, recognizing she would have graduated with $120K in debt versus she'll be debt free at her in-state. Even though it is not as well known, it will give her a lot more opportunity and freedom, because yes, she is a very good student. She's highly motivated. She's not going to be the typical Montana State girl, and allow her to set herself apart and hopefully achieve great career outcomes as well. So I hope this video has helped you understand where I'm coming from as a college applicant, and I hope it helps you as you're trying to make your college decision or decide where you're going to attend college. and to find that balance just for you. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have questions or comments, please put those down below. And if you would like to see more videos on college applications, taking the SAT, please go check those out on the rest of my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.